Welcome back. We want to attempt something called the 2026 political outlook for Nigeria, because it's a year where you're going to see a lot of political activities ahead of the 2027 general election. My guest, Jide Ojo, political affairs analyst, joins us virtually, as well as Austin Aigbe, regional advocacy officer, West African Democracy Solidarity Network, Wademos. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the program. I don't know which was the problem, but if you can unmute your devices so we can try again. Thank you for coming on the program.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mr. Aigbe. Mr. Ojo, can you hear us?
I can hear you, and I'm responding. I'm greeting you.
All right, fantastic. Happy New Year to both of you, gentlemen. Mr. Aigbe, the last time we saw...
I wish Happy New Year to both of you, too.
Last time we saw was on the field in Anambra election. Well, 2027 is just by the corner. We're counting now months, no longer years, ahead of that election. But we can already see what is playing out already among political parties, whether it's the APC, the PDP, the ADC, the Labour Party, NNPP. So I want to attempt to look at your interpretation of what is happening within this individual party. Let's start with the ruling party, Mr. Aigbe. Let me start with you before I go to Mr. Ojo. When you look at the APC, they have 28 governors now. Is it 28 or 29? About that. And then they have supermajority in the Senate, significant majority in the House of Representatives. We can go on and on as to the subnational level. So that is one strength they have. But if you want to look at the party beyond what we see and say this is their strength and this is their weakness, what will it be? APC, let's start with them.
Their strength is incumbency, incumbent power. Strength is resources. They've got the number of states to mobilize adequate resources for effective campaign or financial campaign. And of course, their strength include the ability to be able to pull people on their side, either by instrument of force or coercion, or for the purpose of a given appointment, so they could align on their path. So again, vis-a-vis, all of these tend to line up under the incumbency factor. Ruling party, ruling government, those are the instrument of state, instrument of force, instrument of coercion, particularly when they also have instrument, the state architecture, as it were. If you call it state capture mechanism, yes, you can say that the government in power does appoint the judiciary, appoint the chief of the service chiefs, appoint the police chiefs, appoint all of those security architectures. So all of those are the strength of the ruling party. The flip side is that because everybody is in, the party may bust. We've seen it in recent time, and I hope that with the conflict committee, reconciliation committee set up, we'll be able to handle the kind of upheaval that will happen within that party.
Let me come to you, Mr. Ojo. The reason, I'll tell you, at the end of the day, I'll tell you where we're doing this. Mr. Ojo, what do you make of the strength and the weakness of the APC? Because sometimes we need analysts like you to be able to paint the entire picture for all of these parties to see themselves. Because Nigerians are watching, Nigerians will rally behind different political parties. People like you will be able to give an overview of what you see, maybe help them to make a decision.
Well, thank you, Geoffrey, for inviting me on your show. You know, like my brother Austin has said, the All Progressive Congress has a lot going for it in terms of incumbency factor, in terms of political influence. But I think the icing on the cake for me, while I endorse all that Austin has said, the icing on the cake is political stability that APC currently enjoys. While you have different factions dragging themselves in other parties, there is one APC as of today. I don't know about tomorrow, but as of today, if you are in APC, you are sure of who will sign your nomination form. The national chairman is not in doubt. The national secretary is not in doubt. The national working committee members are not in doubt. So, and you need to listen to many of the governors who have defected. Let me quote Governor Umar Eno when he defected. He said he knew he could win re-election under PDP, which was the party that gave him victory in 2023. But he does not want his victory to be vitiated. Look at what has happened in Osun and Ekiti states regarding the nomination of PDP candidates, where INEC has refused to recognize the PDP candidate in Ekiti State and then the PDP candidate in Osun State. So what does that tell you? No matter your good intentions, you want to keep fidelity with your party and all of that. When you are not sure whether the litigation upon which your nomination will be subjected will be in your favor or against you, then you have to look twice. Let me also remind our viewers what happened in Plateau State ahead of 2023 election, when many people, including 7 senators and House of Reps members, lost their seat because the court ruled that the PDP does not have structure in Plateau State. And it was only the governor, Caleb Mutfwang, who escaped the hammer because his own case ended up at the Supreme Court. Assuming that the petition, the election petition of the governors were to end at the Court of Appeal, as it was before 2011. Perhaps Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State will not have been sitting governor today, all because of the issue around who is the legitimate faction of PDP and the court ruling that the PDP does not have structure in Plateau State. So when you look at all of this, beyond the issue of coercion, beyond the issue of inducement, beyond the issue of incumbency, it is about certainty about who will sign my nomination form if I contest under this party. And there are not many parties who are not in crisis today. Some, their cases are still being litigated upon. Some they are papering over it. But by and large, I think this is just the biggest factor working for APC.
Just a quick one before I go back to Mr. Aigbe. What do you see as a possible Achilles heel in the APC?
Now, that is the easier part. On this morning on Politics Nationwide on Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, I did say, without any fear of equivocation, that there will be an implosion in APC at some point. The reason being that the migration or exodus into APC is largely on self-interest, not the interest of the constituents. And some have come out whispering that they have been promised automatic ticket. I'm not sure automatic ticket will work for everybody who has defected into APC. Some of these positions will be up for contestation. And Baba Sokwe politics may not work in favor of some of the aspirants. And so the natural reaction would be, if Baba Sokwe does not follow, I mean, apologies for those who may not understand Yoruba. Baba Sokwe is that the elder has declared, or the elder has decided that this is the candidate. In which case, whatever the primaries you may want to organize, it is a predetermined outcome because a particular aspirant has been anointed. See what happened, what played out in Ekiti State under APC. That was a typical Baba Sokwe politics.
All right, Mr. Ojo, yes.
Some of the aspirants were disqualified on certain grounds that people have found very nebulous. So what I'm saying is that when people don't get what they went into that party for, there is that likelihood that they would defect to another party to realize.
All right, Mr. Ojo, let me come in. I like the fact that you highlighted Baba Sokwe. which is one Hercules hill they'll watch out for because, you know, Nigerian politicians, what I've observed over time, seeing how it is played right here, the one strong factor around them, besides every other factor, is self-preservation and subservience to power, which is why you see all of the defections. Let me come to you, Mr. Aigbe. So maybe we can do an omnibus, Mr. Aigbe, of the other political parties, which from your analysis and Mr. Ojo's analysis, looks like when it comes to the pros or the strengths, APC holds sway in that sense, especially because they're in power and all this migration and realignment are happening. So let's look at ADC. ADC has big guns, former vice president, former Senate president, former governors, former ministers. The PDP is struggling between Nyesom Wike's faction and Seyi Makinde's faction. So maybe you can give us an omnibus analysis of your outlook for them and whether or not, for instance, for the PDP, there's even a general fear that one group is working towards making sure that the party doesn't have a presidential candidate. The other say, no, it's not going to happen. What do you see?
Well, for the PDP, about a year ago, I'd advised the party to be thinking about restructuring. They restructure or they die. So today, it is almost clear that their inability to restructure is arguably leading to their death. And whether you like it or not, the PDP is not, I repeat and repeat very clearly, the PDP is not a part of opposition conversation ahead of 2027 election. I don't know the magic that will happen, and I don't see it happening. The PDP will need to realign, whether they remain as political party, but aligning with another political party to be able to survive. I think that for the PDP, long before now, about a year ago, they should have been mapping up a strategy of some form of coalition building, which of course we have seen earlier in the 2013, 2014, leading to the 2015 election. Coalition is the key. The PDP of 2013, 2014 suffered the kind of thing we're talking about today, that the explosion because of the usurpation of powers and the exploitation of all manner of people, because it was the only platform on which you may win election. The same kind of conversation my brother Jido Joe are just trying to explain. Today, if you are not in the APC, you may not win election. And that is what is almost an unwritten rule, an unwritten conversation, that if you are not in the APC, you may have challenge in any other party. And of course, the Labour Party has its division, but the ATC, you can say they have division, even though that division is not substantive. The person who came and said is a Nadi, who declares himself as chair, does not even have the locus to declare himself as chair. You can say the NMPP also had his own fraction at some point. I wouldn't know if they've resolved that fraction. If Kwankwasia group remained the leader of the NMPP. Having said that, the NDC, as of today, seems to be like the convergence of all the political thoughts who are not able to shine in their political jurisprudence. For instance, Labour Party. You saw that, in quote, what I would tag new PDP in today's architecture. In 2013, 2014, we had the new PDP, which is NPDP. So we had CPC, we have ACN, we have ABGA that converged, and then rather than form a coalition under a political party, they established a new political party, which is now the APC. And their intentions were clear. They've got blueprints that was fantastic.
Yeah, let me bring you, my apologies, Mr. Aigbe. Let me bring you Mr. Ojo because of time. Now, something just crossed my mind, and I want both of you to respond to it, but I'll start with Mr. Ojo. It's very concerning. I'm not sure what exactly the political class is building. I'll give you what I mean by what I said. First, just literally 10 years after, PDP that had almost 28 governors as at 2003 or so, to being in power till 2015, in 2025, 2026, we are seeing PDP brought down to like 4 governors. 4. This is a party that ruled for 16 years. Let's come about the 2023 election. 2023 presidential election, APC won 8.7 million votes. PDP came second, 6.9 million votes. Labour came third with 6.1 million votes. And then Kwankwaso of the NNPP came with 1.4 million votes. What is looking like right now is that there's doubt about what will happen with the PDP. Labour Party, the force around Labour Party has left. It looks like we don't know what's going to play out. So my question is, are we really building political parties or we're just building SPVs? Because it looks like if this APC, the day they win election, similar things that I've just described will happen to them. How do we check this? Mr. Ojo?
No, there's no two way about it. Primarily in Nigeria, political parties are special purpose vehicles for electoral contestations and winning political offices. The ideological leaning of any of the parties is suspect, even though they parrot that they have ideology. But the difference between APC today and ADC is that you find between 6 and half a dozen. It's almost like, because even when you look at people, the so-called chieftains of ADC today, former chieftains of PDP yesterday, former chieftains of APC yesterday. So it's primarily a special purpose vehicle. And you can see that the court has not helped matters, because the court has ruled that your joint ticket, either as the president and vice president, governor and deputy governor, is limited to contesting election. After election, you can go your separate ways. Look at very recent example. Was it last week or last 2 weeks that Governor Similaye Fubara defected to APC? His deputy just defected yesterday. The deputy governor of Rivers did not defect with his governor. The same thing happened in Bayelsa, where the late deputy governor refused to defect with his governor based on the assumption that he doesn't believe he should defect. So what I'm trying to emphasize is that political parties are special purpose vehicle to contest election. In fact, if assuming that we have altered our law to make way for independent candidacy, I know there will have been a lot of politicians who
all right, Mr. Ojo, let me bring in Mr. Aigbe. My apologies. Let me bring in Mr. Aigbe, because Mr. Aigbe, the same question. Because as we're talking is when it crossed my mind, it looks like we're not building parties. Parties are a platform to drive ideologies. We're just busy building SPVs. Isn't that very concerning and absolutely disturbing for you, who is a watcher like me, and for Nigerians who want to rally around an ideology, whether the ideology is right or wrong, but something they can hold on to as a belief, which we can't find?
Let me be clear and straight to the answer. There is no political party system in Nigeria. Jide Ojo has given it a name, special purpose vehicle. Maybe that's a good title. As far as I'm concerned, it's a convergence of association to win election. When you fail in that election, you are back to status quo. There is no political party system. I worked to support political party system in Nigeria for many years, and back to back, we kept experiencing the same challenge of leadership within political party architecture, the strength and the capacity of political party system to truly respond to action as a political party. But in this case, when you win election, the head of state or the head of government at the lower level becomes the leader. You now have the national leader, you now have the governor who is a state leader. Maybe the governor was a special candidate who was brought into contest election, who never knew anything about the political party, and so become a leader. We have had that example from Obasanjo regime, where Obasanjo immediately became the national leader of the PDP. Having said that, the parties in Nigeria, until there's a caveat in law that says that you lose your ticket when you defect to another political party from where you won election. It's even a moral concern that someone who won on the party ticket on party ADA, or sorry, not ADA, I'm trying to look for a new word, MOP, and suddenly you left the party to another party that you contested with and lost elections to you. What happened to that individual that you're going to join in that political party? It's a waste of system architecture in our system. The truth is this. I told you in our Anambra conversation that most political parties are looking for opportunity for networking. They go to contest the election in a party they know will never have 10 or 5 votes. So they create an opportunity because INEC does not recognize small party or big party. Political party is political party under INEC a platform. So when they have a stakeholders meeting, all of these guys converge in a hall, so they have opportunity to discuss future engagement with the people that you know will win election. So they network, they see those opportunities as network. So when they lose the election, they quickly move and have a call, hello, like we discussed the last time, can we talk this matter on? The problem is there's no party in Nigeria.
Oh, it's quite sad to see. I don't know. Anyway, we're here to see how parties can be built, but it looks like the political class had a different matter altogether. As a matter of fact, when you raise the issue of morality, some of the political class and morality don't work in the same room. Legality can't hold them. You want to bring morality, then you're wasting your time. But they are what we have. We have to make do what we have until we get it right. But I must thank you both for giving us this little outlook, expansive outlook, if I would say, as to 2026 into 2027. We'll be calling you back as much as possible. Thank you. I appreciate you both. Mr. Jide Ojo, political affairs analyst, as well as Austin Aigbe, Regional Advocacy Officer of the West Africa Democracy Solidarity Network. Thank you, sirs.